Hey guys, Casey here. You're tuning in to the Lion's Den Investments and Reviews. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today is Tuesday, and we're going to cover the markets here. Not a whole lot happened over the weekend. I told you guys I'd shoot a video if something big happened. There was nothing really happening other than Bitcoin did hit $50,000, which is a psychological barrier uh, for resistance, um, as well as if we break 50,000 and we head higher, uh, sky's the limit here, guys. So it was a monumental milestone again for Bitcoin hitting 50,000. But right now, if you're looking at the charts, and you're paying attention to the day trading and the volume that's coming in on the markets, we're getting ready for a pullback here. And to be honest with you, I think that's healthy for the crypto market as a whole because you don't want to go just up and up and up. I think that's one reason why when we hit 65,000 the first time, we came back down and had this huge correction over the last, say, like 3 or 4 months, is because, on that way up, we really didn't have much of a breather. We just shot straight up. And so it's always healthy to have a pullback and find new higher lows. And I think that's what you're going to see over this next week going into Friday, is that we'll get a slight pullback here and find a new higher low for Bitcoin in the entire market. I'm looking at, just looking at charts here. I'm not much of a day trader, so just take this with a grain of salt. But, from support levels and pivot points on the daily, we're not looking at the daily, we're on a weekly chart right now, and I'm zooming out to give you a macro level. But on the daily charts, I drew out some support levels here, just based on where we've been in the past. And I would say we're probably going to pull back to at least 41,000, 42,000. That would be a healthy pullback where we can find a new higher low. And then from there, going into, say, next week, we shoot much higher. But I did tell you, my last video, if you watched the last video or the one before that, I did tell you that we would hit 50,000 in no time. Within a couple days after I shot the video, we did hit 50,000. So that's kind of what I'm expecting as far as where prices go for the entire market cap moving forward. But yeah, that's really all I have on Bitcoin. Ethereum, pretty much the same thing. We need to find a new higher low. We got that double bottom on the weekly. You can see that's playing out really nice right now as well. Guys, Cardano, if you guys are Cardano investors, I've been watching Cardano, and Jesus Christ, um, it has completely skyrocketed. We're basically in price discovery mode right now in Cardano, and I want to cover Cardano today because there is an update that is coming in here soon, and it has something to do with DeFi. So I want to cover that, and I also want to talk about the DeFi space and the regulations that they're trying to push on that, because I found a couple interesting articles that kind of tie together. But before we go there, let's just go over here real quick. This I want to take you to the Fear and Greed Index. This is from my website, academyofcrypto.com. One of the easiest ways to find it really is just go to a website that has it already for you. My website here, Academy of Crypto, I've got a Fear and Greed Index. If you just click on that, it'll take you over here to the actual site. I'll leave a link for this in the description as well. Just a direct link straight to the Fear and Greed Index. If you don't want to hit my site, that's fine. But right now we're sitting at a 79. Okay, last week we were at 72. So the greed has went up. We're in extreme greed right now. So I'm expecting a pullback. We need a pullback. We cannot stay in extreme greed like this, for months on end, because that's not healthy. We haven't. If you have that, then you have extensive pullbacks where you're looking at 60% corrections. And right now, with where we are in the bull run, that would not be healthy. If we had another 60% pullback, I would say that the market is pretty much done and we're going into a bear market from there. So we cannot afford to have that. So we need a pullback, guys. It's good and it's healthy for the market. So that's where the Fear and Greed Index is right now. Let's go over here though. Here's an article I found on Cardano, and this is for Cardano, which is set to get an update. And here's how that will change things for the cryptocurrency. Given that it's after the Ethereum update. Basically, like I was saying, Cardano has been on a tear. Its prices have more than doubled over the last 30 days. It took the number 3 spot in the cryptocurrency market as a whole. So Charles Hoskinson, man, you're killing it, guy. Keep it up. I love it. Within the last 24 hours, the cryptocurrency's price has jumped by over 11%. The surge comes amid anticipation of the Alonzo hard fork, an update that will take Cardano to the next stage. Now, what is the Alonzo hard fork? If we go down here, um, basically they're saying that the new update is scheduled for next month, which will put it head to head against Ethereum in its own kingdom, the space of decentralized finance, okay, and smart contracts. The update will allow Cardano to mint non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and automate lending and bring in other use cases, which is huge. And you know, I was an investor in Cardano back in 2018, back when it was like 15 cents. Flipped it a few times, made some good trades on it. I am not invested in Cardano right now. I kind of wish I was, but I've got investments in other stuff like with Theta, T Fuel, XRP, Algorand, and right now I can tell you, being in the bull run that I was in back in 2017, going into 2018, guys, if you're new to the market and you're wanting to invest, further, I would. That's just my recommendation. I would just hold off and sit on what you have right now. Don't add to your bags, because the problem is you can get too diversified in your portfolio, and it actually hurts you and takes away from the profits that you might make. So that's why I am not getting into Cardano right now. I'll probably look at buying some Cardano here in the bear market when we come back down, because the thing is, you do not want to buy cryptos when we're going into this next bull run wave over the next, say, like 2 or 3 months. You're going to get priced out, and quite honestly, unless you're playing with big bags, I wouldn't even do it. I would just wait until we go into a bear market and the prices come back down, and you can buy on, when there's blood in the streets. That's the best way to do it. And that's what I've learned from my own experience, is the best way to make profits in this market. So as of right now, I'm not really adding to my bags. If I do, it's through staking and passive income. So I'm using basically what they call other people's money. In this case, it's not dividends, so it's not other people's money. It's a blockchain consensus algorithm staking protocol that I'm using for some of my assets like Algorand, Theta, and T Fuel. But nonetheless, it's free money, and I can compound that and reinvest it. So I don't care about where the price is on those, because it's not money that I'm investing out of my own back pocket, if that makes sense. So just a little tip there for you when it comes to investing in these tokens right now, especially with where we are in the bull market. But being that said, let's move on here, because we talked about DeFi with Cardano. Let's get into the DeFi stuff now, because I found this, and this is interesting. Kevin O'Leary, right? Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary says financial middlemen will be left shining shoes when DeFi technology takes their jobs. And quite frankly, I'd have to agree with him, because we're talking about decentralized finance being automated, right, through smart contracts. Um, he's basically saying it'll force financial middlemen to find new jobs, maybe even shining shoes. Um, I'm not going to go into too much of this article, but I just want to show you that. I'll leave a link in the description so you can read it further and see what he has to say about DeFi, because he's going heavily in on DeFi right now, due to the fact that these middlemen like international brokers are basically raping people right in front of their face with the fees. And he does not like that. So he's all about the decentralized finance now, and getting away from the centralized authorities when it comes to these middlemen charging these exuberant fees for moving money from one hand to another, right? Um, so with Kevin O'Leary saying that, I also found this too, because on the flip side, you got this douchebag SEC chairman, who's really, I'm calling him a douchebag, because yes, the man is smart, but he's a freaking idiot too. Like I don't know why some of these guys get appointed and just can't keep their mouths shut, but he's going in, he's talking about uh, stuff like DeFi here, and he wants to regulate DeFi, right? But he goes out here and he goes out on a whim and says DeFi projects have a lot of centralization and warns that they won't reach full potential outside of regulatory laws. Now, I just have to laugh at that. I really do, because what he's talking about here is centralization with the companies, right, who have created these blockchains, which the title itself is misleading a little bit, um, but that's what he's saying, right? And he's saying that on purpose to get you distracted with thinking that DeFi is not decentralized and it's actually centralized, which it's not. And he's really good with his words. So he says it has a lot of centralization. Well, if you look at the companies that create the blockchains, they're centralized. So he has a good point. But what he's getting at here, what he's getting at is trying to regulate the DeFi space. And that I'm all for, because if you can regulate it a little bit, put some rules behind it, right? It protects some of these investors, gets more institutional money involved so that the cash flow can really start moving. So I am not against that. Um, but again, they talk about the risks to this DeFi space being one that you got a lot of money laundering that takes place day to day. But then on the flip side of that, you could argue, well, look at our cash-based system. You know, how much money laundering goes on from all the money printing from the Federal Reserve. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but that's really all I wanted to cover today. Was just the latest on Cardano and what they're doing, kind of where the markets are right now, where the fear and greed is for the overall entire market, and what I'm expecting moving forward over the next at least week or week and a half. And then here next week, or not next week, but here in a couple days, I'll shoot another video, and I'll go into some more like fundamentals, maybe break down some technical details on some of the blockchain technology that I'm learning through my certifications that I'm taking through the International Blockchain Council as well. Because I've been learning a lot of interesting stuff there, guys, on like the Hyperledger Fabric, R3 Corda, for example, and multi-chain. And with multi-chain, there's some really interesting technology behind that. So I think what I'll do is cover that in a little bit more in detail here, on one of these videos here moving into like the next couple weeks. So if you guys like the content, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Helps the YouTube algorithm. And again, I like to thank all my supporters, people who watch the channel, because quite honestly, keeping up with all this material is like a full-time job. And I may not be the best at it, but I'm certainly on it when it comes to the technology and understanding what's taking place here. And I try to paint you guys the best picture I can with where we're headed. But I can tell you this, over the next 2 or 3 months, get ready, because these prices are going to the flipping moon. Okay, and I'm expecting Bitcoin, just my own personal opinion here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but my own personal opinion about price projections on Bitcoin, we could very easily hit 75 to 100,000, no problem. Ethereum, people are talking about prices anywhere between like 5 to 9 grand by the end of the year. So, and that's just that's just your two largest tokens in the market space. If Ethereum even goes to 5 grand, guys, all these other projects are going up with it. So, yeah, I mean, you could literally create video after video on each one of these projects, but quite frankly, I really don't care. I'm just focused in on my portfolio and what I have. Not really adding to it right now. And yeah, well, let's see where we go. If you guys think we're going to hit, all-time new highs here on Bitcoin and Ethereum here like in the next 2 weeks, hit that like button as well, because I'm extremely bullish right now. I don't know about you guys, but with that said, you guys have a great day. These markets are volatile. They go up and down. And with that said, have no fear, my friends. Till next time.